All right, so we have Antonio here today, one of our growth associates. Obviously, you've been here for a couple of months now.
Yeah, a couple months.
And today we want to talk about mostly sales stuff, some sales coaching, and you said wanting to get information for someone that wants to start their sales career.
Yeah.
So I guess take it away. You're in my chair, my host chair.
I'm hosting today.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. What sort of made you start sales in the first place?
Okay, the reason is number one, I think personality-wise, I like to chat to people. I like to be social. I don't like to sit still. I've probably got an undiagnosed ADHD. I literally can't sit still. So I like social interactions. It gives me energy. That's the first thing. The second thing is sales from even in my teenage years, I believe that it's the one skill that I can take away for the rest of my life that's going to benefit me in every single situation. Every single interaction you have is a sales interaction of some sort.
I agree.
So if you're asking your friend to go out to have dinner or to go out to have drinks, you're presenting a sales case as to why they should come with you. And sometimes it's an easy sell, like, yep, no worries. And sometimes you got to really sell it, like, hey, and you got to get them to imagine what the night's going to be like. So everything is a negotiation. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she pushes the boundaries all the time. And so I need to figure out what my boundaries are and what I firmly believe. And if I believe it, that's where I draw the line. And so in terms of work, for example, I know what we do and how we help our clients. I know the exact results of what that could be over the 11 years that I've been doing this, going on to 12. And I know what's good for them. And so I know where the boundaries, I know where the limit is. I can show my passion, my belief, my conviction without feeling like I'm being pushy or salesy.
Yeah.
So the first most important thing is you have to truly believe that whatever that you're selling is the right thing. You have to fully have a conviction that whatever you're doing is the right thing, morally, ethically, legally, the whole lot, right? If you have that belief, giving or protruding that belief to the other person is going to be real, obviously, because you believe it. And the second thing is it's going to feel natural. Gone are the days where people in the past, you're being a sleazy salesperson.
Yeah.
Like those days are gone because I believe we process information a lot better now as human beings. There's so much information coming left, right, center with the internet, with your phone, with your emails, with laptops, etc., that we process information a little bit better. And we're a bit more wary with all these things. So it's people are smarter. They can read you. They can sense you. And so giving out a speech or a presentation on something that you don't believe in, they can pick up on it. Now, maybe they won't say, oh, he's lying. They probably won't say that. But there will be something within them that says, yeah, it's not quite ready or it's not quite right. I don't know what it is, but let me think about it. So, I guess it's beneficial. To answer the question, it's beneficial for me for the long term. I think it's going to help me with a lot of things. Also, sales has an uncapped earning opportunity, and so that's probably, again, a big driver when I was younger is I want to get somewhere in the world. I want to earn a good income. I want to make a lot of money. And sales is one of the places where you're rewarded for your results, not for your time. And I never wanted to be on salary on its own because I want to be rewarded for my good work, not just for the time I spent on it. So what if I could do twice as good of a job in half of the time? Should I be paid double or should I be paid half of the time,
Exactly.
right? So that's my biggest driver when I was younger.
Yeah, I agree. I think for myself as well, the reason why I started sales is that communication skills. Ever since I was younger, didn't know how to communicate. And then I realized this surely is a way where you can work towards it. That's why I sort of dived into sales because, you learn how to speak to people, you learn how to communicate in that profession, right? And then definitely I agree, you can pass it on to your personal life and you sort of see how it affects your personal life and how, you communicate to people much differently. So I think that's honestly for myself, the
Mhm.
reason why as well I, joined into sales and definitely agree with you. And I think as well from that, I heard you previously saying that sales sort of did change over the past few years in terms of people, are more wary.
Yep.
How do you feel that's, come across previous years? Do you feel that, the technology these days have sort of altered the way, we sell as a
Yeah,
person.
absolutely. For the
Yeah.
good and for like to make it better and worse in a way, like better in the sense of like if you've got a really, really good social presence, on Google, presence on Instagram, Facebook, etc. They can judge whether that company is being legit or not, and they're doing the presence matters, right? Whereas in the past, if you don't have those things, it's very hard to gauge whether this company is legit or not, and so the trust factor is very hard to determine, or harder to determine back then. And then the second thing is now it's so quick and easy to have Zoom meetings with all sorts of companies and
That's right.
all over Australia, even all over the world, to figure out what you need. And so you need to really be on point to make sure that the message that you're delivering is one, it's right for them. Number two, you fully believe in it. And number three is going to provide a solution to the client. And so if they don't feel like you have all of those three things at once in one go, they will have the feeling of something's not quite there yet. I'm not fully convinced yet. I don't know what it is. Let me think about it. Let me come back to you. So you need to have all those things. And yeah, it makes it easier because in a way, because you get to have the Zoom meetings with people. Like we have a lot of clients on the other side of Australia. We're in Sydney and we have clients all the time from Perth, obviously Northern Queensland, places where we wouldn't have been able to reach them otherwise.
Yeah.
And they get to see our social presence. They get to see our videos. They get to learn from our videos. And so that makes it easier from that side of things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I do know that, there's quite a lot of people out there that want to start, their sales journey, their sales career. They obviously don't know sort of what avenue they may take or sort of what industry, they want to go in, but they know they want to, do sales. What's sort of that one, piece of advice that you'd probably give to them that, really instills in their minds as to, how to go about it?
Sales is going to work wherever you want it to be. So I think the most important thing is figuring out what is it that's going to be interesting to you. What topic of conversation is going to be interesting to you, because you're going to talk about it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So you need to find a topic that makes you curious and you want to learn about it deeply. That's the first thing. The second thing is then sharpening your sales skills. So some people are natural, but natural will only take you so far. You do still need to sharpen your skills. And so you need to be very, very aware of what it is about the sales process and where you're at and what you need to do to get the clients to where you want them to go. And so, education in the sense of YouTube videos and, reading books, sales book. Beyond sales, actually, sales is really communication, right?
Yeah.
So you need to figure out how to communicate effectively. You need to figure out body languages and what certain body language means. You need to understand psychology. And then obviously you need to understand sales skills, negotiation skills, objection handling, and all that jazz. So all of that is very important to make up for the one thing, which is sales. So picking a topic is the first thing. Number two is sharpening your sales skills. And number three is you've got to have it in you to want to be the best. The younger you are, it sometimes comes across as being that, full of confidence, a bit cocky. But when you're young, I think you sort of need it because you need to get somewhere. You need to prove yourself. You need to turn up and do the job and prove to people that you can do this job. And from there, you're going to get more attention and guidance and, oh, okay, he's got potential. He's hungry. He's motivated. Once you reach a certain level, you probably don't need that anymore. And from there, it's more about being and truly being comfortable in who you are, the confidence, self-confidence. And so you don't need to exude all of that cockiness, that ego anymore. And that will get you to the next level again. So there's so many levels in this world. If we talk about this particular skill of sales, you'll get to a point where, okay, I'm up to here. And when you get to there, you can only service these types of clients. And then, so what do I need to do to unlock the next level? So sometimes it's actually not skills. Sometimes it's more just self-confidence, self-awareness, more self-belief, and they'll unlock the next level. right? And so then you can reach up further to those clients. And like, I like to create examples where it's kind of measurable. But for example, if your certain skills gets you up to a certain level, you might be able to service clients that's on $150,000 to $200,000, for example. And anything above that, it seems a bit more scary. It requires a bit more skills. It requires a bit more self-belief, self-confidence, experience, time, etc. Once you kind of go through that, then all of a sudden, I can service clients that are the $300,000 to $400,000 ranges, and then it keeps going up further. So all of that, obviously, first thing, it requires skills, but it requires time, expertise. A lot of the things that you learn is not something that you need to learn. It's something that you just learn because of time. Different circumstances, different situations arises, things happen, and you learn from that. And you can't expedite that. That takes decades.
Yeah. I agree.
I would say in the first 5 years, I probably learned the most.
Okay.
Between 5 to now, it's grows at a much smaller rate, but those small improvements have gotten me way further in life.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think when I was younger, I thought sales was going to be the easy game. That's why I sort of jumped into it as well. When I first started in the sales industry, I just thought to myself, this is going to be easy. And I'm going to kick back, have some fun and do it, right? And when I first started, it was tough. And I didn't expect it. And coming back to what you were saying, you learned quite a lot that you didn't realize that you'd actually learn, right? And when I started, I just thought, this is going to be easy. Speaking to people, closing the deal, Wolf of Wall Street style, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought. And then learning through that journey, I realized that, it is hard. It's tough. And there's so many things that you actually learn. There's so many things that you need to apply to yourself. And even to this day, I'm learning, and I'm sure that, you're still learning stuff out there that,
of course.
Yeah, 100%. And, sometimes I think to myself, was it a good decision for myself? And I do agree. I agree that, it was a good decision to, jump into sales and do it, even though it was hard at the start. And, I do speak to a lot of people, and they say to me, sales is easy. Don't worry about it. You're overthinking it. But, real sales is tough. A lot of ejection.
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference between just doing sales and I'm talking about being elite level, right? I'm talking about the top 5%.
Yes.
I'm not here to just be mediocre. That's not who I am as a person. And so when we're talking about these things, I'm talking about being the top 5%, right?
Gotcha.
Sales, is it fun? It should be fun, because if it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And so if it's not giving you energy, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. So if you think it's going to be fun, well, that's a really good sign, because it's something that you would like to do. But with any skills that you learn, any new skills that you learn, it's going to be tough at the start. You are going to get jabbed, right hook, the whole sorts of things. Probably in your first, definitely 3 to 6 months. And then from there, you kind of get out of that hole, and then you get a little bit better and better. And then from there, you get incrementally better over the years. But the first 3 to 6 months, it's really, really tough, because you're dealing with rejections, you're dealing with not knowing what's going on, you're dealing with finance, obviously money, because you're not making the money that you could be making. Am I wasting my time here? What's going on? Because I'm not producing. But doesn't matter where you are, what skills you're doing. The first 3 to 6 months is going to be really, really tough. That's just how it is. So what's more important is just the discipline of just turning up and getting on with it.
Yeah.
No matter what. Whether you feel like it today or not, you just do the reps. It might not be your best effort today, but at least you're turning up and giving it an effort.
That's right.
And maybe the next day you're going to feel a little bit better, and then you do give your best effort.
For sure. Well, I believe, coming back to, discipline, I feel like it's very important in sales. How do you sort of, come back from having a really bad day? For instance, you come into the office, you speak to so many people, nothing done, you're wanting to bash yourself, over it.
Yep.
How do you come into the office the next day and sort of, really discipline yourself into being like, I want to do this. Let's forget about the bad day.
There's 2 components. The bigger picture and the bigger thing is you need to know what your sense of purpose is. Why are you doing this, right?
Mm.
I can ask the question, say, what do you want to do this? Most people will say, I want to make a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money? First of all, because a lot of money to different people means a different thing.
That's right.
So you need to be very specific on what that number is for you, right? Then the second thing is money is great, but doesn't do anything. What are you going to do with the money? Right? Well, I want to go and travel. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. And then, so then you start to understand, okay, what's my purpose? Why am I working to try and get this money for? I want to go on my holidays. I want to help my parents. I want to buy a new car. I want to buy investment properties, whatever the case may be, right? So then that becomes the real purpose as to why you're doing this. If the purpose is big enough and real enough and you truly believe it, that will be your long-lasting fire to get up and do whatever it is that is in front of you. Whatever challenges it is, whatever action you got to do, you'll just end up doing it if the purpose is big enough. So that's the first thing. The second thing, how do you get over it? There's no real way. You just pick it up and move on. Like, what's the point of dwelling on it? Like, it's in the past. It's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. This is probably a bigger life lesson. Like, the things that are in the past, it's in the past. It happened, and the thing that you want to happen didn't happen. And so there's nothing you can do about it.
Just do it, right?
So you just move on.
Yeah.
You put it aside. And it's easier said than done. And after a while, I think you build that skill and you're able to just let it go and you move on to the next thing, because my purpose is there and I got to get to what's my purpose. And so what's the first logical step for me to get to my goals and my purpose? And you just move on.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's very important as well, because, when I did start, that sales journey, when I did have a bad day, I'd come home and I just get angry, right? And I didn't know how to attack that bad day. So I'd let that affect my next day, and then my next day would be even worse because, I wasn't being disciplined in myself. And you're right, I didn't see that purpose as to why I chose this. So 100% completely agree as to very important, right?
Mate, the biggest tip, I'm genuinely serious about this, the biggest tip I could give you before the sales skills, before anything, is you need to know what your purpose is.
Yeah.
You need to know what you want in detailed, and you need to write it down. So every single year in January, after New Year's, I lock myself away for about an hour, right? And I write down all of the things that I want to achieve for the year. That includes finances. That includes my relationship with my friends, with my parents, with my my family, my wife and my kids. My kid, not pregnant yet. Sorry, guys. My health is another one, and spiritual things or social things. And then lastly is material things. So things I want to buy or whatever. I literally spend, 30 to 60 minutes, sometimes overtime. This year was a little bit overtime. And I visualize what I want to have for the year. And what's scary about this is you might not have a 100% success rate, but it's scary to look back at the end of the year and you go through your goals again and of how many things actually happened. It's so scary, man. I remember doing it when I was, 1 or 2 years in. I was 25 years old. And I wrote down things like, I think I wanted to buy a new navy suit, double-breasted navy suit. I wanted to buy leather brown Oxford shoes. And so you have to be very specific, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to get a black and gold Mont Blanc pen. I want to travel to Thailand with my friends in December period. And then I had written it down. I put it away somewhere and you kind of forget about it. And then 2 years later, I came across it again. And I look back and I'm like, holy crap, like I did most of that.
You achieved it.
Like I got the suit, I got the shoes, I got the pen. I didn't go to Thailand, but we went to Bali. Like all of these things was actually achieved. And so writing it down just makes it a bit more real. I encourage everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, to write down what you want for you to happen over the next quarter, next year, or whatever the case may be.
That's definitely something I'm doing next year. Definitely.
No, you're going to do it now.
Oh, now?
If you wanted to.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, we're still first quarter of, but it doesn't have to be for a full year. You can do it for the quarter.
Yeah.
Right? And figure out what you want for the quarter in all aspects of your life, not just money or finances. Just one thing, like if you don't have your health, money doesn't mean anything.
Exactly right.
So you got to look after the whole thing. And if you have a lot of money, but you don't have any friends and you don't have any relationship, that's also not good for your health.
That's right.
So overall, it needs to be there.
I'll take that on board. And then I think, my last question to you, Hen, is if you could change one thing from when you started your career, what would that be?
If I need to change one thing in my career,
Yeah. If you could start your career all over again, what would be one thing that you would
I don't
change?
have any regrets.
Really?
It doesn't mean everything panned out the way I wanted it to, but I don't have a single regret because I truly believe every single thing happened for a reason.
Okay.
Man, some of the moments in my career was a tough moment, like, I was expecting a lot of money in terms of payments when I was working for someone and that didn't come through.
Yeah.
And I was forced to, on a corner before I start Ace Property Team. And so didn't have any money coming in and you just kind of make do. Now, was that fun? Absolutely not. Like that was a very, very stressful period of my life. But do I have regrets? No, because you move on, you look forward to what's next. You live in the moment as much as you can. And it all happened for a good reason, whether you realize that or not. Now, maybe you'll find out in the future. If I had to pick something, I probably would have maybe invested slightly earlier.
In property-wise, you mean?
Property-wise,
Okay.
yeah. I bought my first property at 24, 25.
All right.
Um,
What stopped you from investing earlier?
Lifestyle inflation.
Okay. Gotcha.
You have to remember, I was a 23, 24, 25-year-old kid. I was making a decent amount of money because I was really good at what I was doing. And so you buy the stuff.
Exactly.
But I was a kid, and so what do you want me to do?
I know.
So to answer your question, do I regret it? No, absolutely not. I had the best freaking time as a 25-year-old man.
Hectic.
But would that have achieved a better result for me today? Absolutely. Obviously, the sooner you invest,
The better.
the better it's going to be from a
Definitely.
compound interest perspective. But what does an extra X amount of money will do in the long term? Those experiences, those memories, those fun times was a great time.
Amazing. Well, Hen, definitely learnt a lot today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Amazing.
We'll do more of this very soon.
Of course. Always looking forward to it.
I love it.
Done.